Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the third and final part of episode 117, the top 25 of 2017 show. This one will feature spots 10 through 1. So what made the top 10 this year? This one was a little tricky to put together, so send comments to takingtheleadmedia@gmail.com or hit me up on Twitter at TTLMpodcast. Alright, at the number 10 spot, this one goes to Clit Worldwide by Clit. The album was released back in March through Pennyback Records, and the band did release a new EP on Halloween titled Downright Dirty Reefer Reapers. And when I first heard Clit Worldwide, actually I didn't know what to feel or think. I don't even know what to call it. Some kind of gutter punk that borders maybe crust. It's really raw stuff, very energetic, just charged, and always amped. It's different from what I normally listen to, for me anyways, and that's what interested me in the band, and what got me into this album. The song I'll be playing is a quick one. It's called Steve Buscemi, and it's a really dope track. The album is called Clit Worldwide, and this is Clit. Take it to the dome.
Buscemi! Steve! Have sex with Steve Buscemi! I want to have sex with Steve Buscemi. I heard he's romantic, he knows that I want it, so why won't he give it? I only want him, my Buscemi. You know that I need you and only you. I couldn't see anybody else but you. I love you, Stevie, my good baby. Please give it to me. You know I need some Stevie. I love him so madly, my Steve, my man, my land. Have sex with Steve Buscemi. Here we go, let's start the show. Kids are standing bored, feet on the floor, their mind on the door. Wonder what these kids will do. This is how the Wild West was won. With language from the barrel of a gun. When they came west upon their horses, they looked up high. This is how love never did find. They're singing of Here we go, let's start the show. Kids are all of you. They're back to back, ready to attack. Wonder what these kids will do. This is how the Wild West was won. With language from the barrel of a gun. When they came west upon their horses, they looked up high. They searched out love, never did find. They're sitting, oh no, never did find. They're sitting of never did find.
What you just heard is Illicitor from Las Vegas, Nevada, at the number 9 spot with their self-titled album. The track is titled City of Gold, and it's available through GC Records. Feels like this album was a long time coming. Illicitor came about after Holding On to Sound disbanded, and it's a bit tricky to categorize this band. Is it punk? Is it hardcore, funk, progressive type stuff? It all incorporates all of that, and the tunes incorporate a little bit of everything, giving the sound a vibrant, lively tone that's refreshing. It definitely rocks for sure. Check out more tunes on Bandcamp. At the number 8 spot was an unexpected release, for me anyways. I just got a notification through Bandcamp, one of those, you purchased from this band before, now they have new tunes. This band is Unloved. Their last release was back in 2014, a 5-song EP titled Ruin, released through Dog Ears Records. Excellent EP. Now they're back with 9 new songs, heavy as all hell. The album is titled Under the Veil, released independently. They bring a bigger and cleaner sound, more structure, and more instrumentals. They definitely bring a more metal sound to their riffs, lots of guitar licks, and movement in the rhythm section. Sounds sick. They've definitely brought their sound to new heights. Y'all need to put out another tape. This track that I'll be playing is titled As Light Engulfs. The album is Under the Veil, and this is Unloved. what you heard is a new track from CityCop. That song was titled Bad Trip off of the album The Same Stories That Never Get Old, released earlier this year through Small Mammal Records. And this is number 7 on the list. Turns out this album was recorded late in 2015 and later re-emerged for this year. What I love about this album is that it reflects everything the band has done before. It has the aggressiveness of the hope and forgiving and giving up hope, the organic tones of Seasons, and the intensity of Loner. They stick to a structure and sound that's unlike any other act. An acoustic guitar layered on very aggressive drums and bass, with a singer that can lead with a forceful voice or a calm, smooth one. I'm glad this album was able to find light after being dormant for almost a year and a half. At the number 6 spot is an album that was introduced to me from a promoter. The album is The Symmetry of Autumn Leaves by Perennial. And I love this album so much. They keep a well-balanced sound of electronics and guitars, as well as the heaviness that's layered throughout. It's not always chaotic, but just enough. And I love the dual vocal action too. I also want to point out that there was this one band from the island called My Ex Is Dead. And they had a similar setup, keyboards, a guitarist and drums, and a fourth member strictly on vocals. The first time I saw them was their last show ever. And man, not a whole lot of bands leave me amped up post-show, and they did just that. And I think subconsciously, Perennial is feeling that part of me that wants new My Ex Is Dead music. Perennial, though, are sick, though. It's definitely music that is its own, a nice original sound that I feel is both fresh and absurd in that good way. Check out more of their tunes on Bandcamp and through Howling Frequency Records. The track I'll be playing is titled Dissolver. The album is The Symmetry of Autumn Leaves, and the band is Perennial.
Clap, 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 goes the capital. The singing head.
So now we're down to the top 5 releases of this show. At the number 5 spot, I give it to the local band from here on the island, Antimatter. Their album From Here to Anarchy on Velfox Records. It's 10 tracks of straight up punk rock, consistently fierce, strong hooks, catchy melodies for sure. My favorite part of these songs is that there are a lot of great sing-along parts, awesome call and response verses, and just an overall energetic feel and tone of the songs. And what you hear in those tracks is what you'll hear in their live shows. Maybe a little bit more fast, a little bit more rowdy, but you just get amped up just the same. It's a fun album to play on and off, and the dudes in the band are cool too. I'll be playing the track I Don't Like the Taste, one of my favorite tracks on the album, and the album is titled From Here to Anarchy, and this is Antimatter. Alright, so the number 4 spot on this list goes to Jay Som's Everybody Works on Polyvinyl Records. And Jay Som is Melina Duterte, based in Oakland, California. Stay rating Oakland. Everybody Works is 10 songs of indie rock and pop goodness. Songs like 1 Billion Dogs incorporates lots of fuzzy guitars and feedback with dissonant guitar leads and riffs, while the follow-up track One More Time Please starts off as a funky track with soft-spoken vocals and moving mid-song into some light pop rock. The whole album is a nice wave of pleasant chords and melodies, all done on her own. And the writing is superb, creative, and solid, and certified fresh. Thanks to Tiny Desk Concerts for having her on, and that's how I actually heard of her. And be sure to check out her tunes. It's available on Bandcamp and iTunes. At the number 3 spot, I'm giving it to the band Helpless. The album is called Depth, released through Holy Roar Records. And the album is 10 tracks of grindcore, metal, punk, and noise. It's as fierce as it sounds, and even more heavy when listening to it. What makes it at the number 3 spot, opposed to the other metalish type albums on the list, is due to the overall tone of the album. It feels consistently brutal with the choice of riffs and their approach with drum beats. It's almost viciously brutal, and you can feel that. If you want to hear some of these tracks, it's also on Bandcamp. Alright, so at the number 2 spot is Fleshkiller's album Awaken, and it has some pretty amazing songwriting on it. All metalcore, metal type tunes. Epic in length and superior in riffs. It gets pretty technical within the core of the songs, and savagely pristine in execution. Really, the guitar riffs on this album are killer, very heavy and stellar. Fleshkiller are made up of members of Extol and Shaliak, so it's pretty much a super group of sorts. And the band name is pretty dope too. Be sure to check out the album through Face Down Records. Alright, if you want to hear the track to the number 2 spot, which goes to Fleshkiller's Awaken album, go to this podcast website at takingtheleadmedia.com and stream this episode there. Alright, so the number 1 album on this list, my favorite album of the year, goes to I Still Feel Cold by Vultures United. It's a double album, and for the band, a long time in the making, and already conceived early on by Jordan of the band before the rest of the band even knew. Maybe as early as, when Girls was in the making, which was their EP that was released 5 years ago. Since then, there are member changes of the band, and currently, though, it's a solid lineup with Vultures united. I was waiting for this album for a while too. Ever since Savages, I was looking forward to new material, with the exception of Girls' new original material. And so what I love about I Still Feel Cold is the concept. 2 albums, both representing 2 sides of the band's sound. So the first side is actually titled Memory Loss, which is more angst-filled, rebellious, and more parallels, I guess, with the band's earlier sound of punk and hardcore. The second side, titled Adulthood, is exactly just that, or what you would think, a progressive sound that reflects maturity, a more personal touch on the lyrics, and progressive musicianships. The Girls EP is a good point to mark in which the band's sound begins to switch it up in regards to song structure and approach, and Adulthood most reflects that. I really like the direction they're going with these 30 new songs, and if this is the end, well, they went out with a bang. The track I'll be playing is called Carcinogens, and the album is titled I Still Feel Cold, and this is Vultures United. Well, that's it. That's the top 25 of 2017 show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the tunes. Be sure to check out these bands and their music. Links will be up on this podcast website at takingtheleadmedia.com. You can also check out past episodes and read up on my on and off ramblings. If you enjoy the show and like what I'm doing here, please do me a favor and rate and review this podcast on iTunes. 1 star, 5 stars, you decide. Any feedback will help with improving the show and help the podcast climb the charts on iTunes. I'd be very grateful for that. And if you could, recommend this show to a friend. They may find their new favorite band on a future episode. And be sure to hit that subscribe button too. Hit me up on Twitter at TTLM Podcast. I do love the interaction. You may also direct any comments, questions, music submissions, recommendations to my email along with any general correspondence to takingtheleadmedia@gmail.com. Like I said, more interviews, guests on the show, new music to be heard next year. Also, I'll start posting old episodes every now and then, so until every episode is uploaded on iTunes. You'll hear stuff I was listening to 7 years ago and whatnot. It'll be awesome. This podcast is still alive and kicking, and I'm happy to be continuing it. Thank you to all the bands who I've met along the year, and to all the record labels too, and for everyone who has been on the show. It's been fun and awesome. Here's to an awesome 2018. Thank you to 2017. Until then, have yourself a safe and wonderful new year. My name is Onofre, and I'll be signing off until the next Taking the Lead Media podcast. Thanks for listening. You praise His grace and taking me. Your broken love. So much I can't control it.